Lovelies, Captain TigerLily here, and we are back with more of the Reading Corner book suggestions. Now this week, both of these stories are vastly different adventures. One has more of a supernatural feel to it, and the other has more of a medieval magical feel to it. Now, I'm going to do the supernatural-ish one first, and this one has actually been attempted to be adapted into a movie and has a currently very successful television show at the moment, and that is going to be City of Bones from the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Now, I read this book in high school and immediately became obsessed. I loved the world that she creates in this book, and I am just, I was in love with the whole idea of the creatures that are in this story in a modern setting. And I will read the back so that you can see why, okay? Two worlds will collide. When Clary Frey heads out to the Pandemonium Club in New York City, she hardly expects to witness a murder, much less a murder committed by three teenagers covered in odd markings. This is Clary's first meeting with the Shadowhunters, warriors dedicated to ridding the earth of demons and keeping the odd werewolves and vampires in line. It's also her first meeting with gorgeous golden-haired Jace. Within 24 hours, Clary is pulled into Jace's world with a vengeance when her mother disappears, and Clary herself is attacked by a demon. But why would demons be interested in an ordinary girl like Clary? And how did she suddenly get the sight? The Shadowhunters would like to know. So, as far as I can tell with this series, there are 5 books in the Mortal Instruments series, and then there are 3 other books written that are kind of like companion stories to it, and those would be Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess, I believe are the 3. And these books are so engaging. I love it. I love when you can feel like, I love being able to pick up a book and not be able to put it down. It's one of the best feelings, is being able to pick up a novel and want to read it all the way through to the end without stopping. And this was one of those books that did that for me. I stayed up way too late multiple nights in a row and got up way too early in the morning to get ready for school so that I had extra time to read this before I got on the bus. Like, that's the kind of reader I was with this book, and with very, very many other books along the way. So I would definitely highly suggest City of Bones. If you haven't read it, it's definitely worth the read. And as usual, I will leave a link down in the description for you guys to go check out the books for yourselves, because I feel like that's kind of the whole point of this, is to share what I love with you guys. So, the second book today is kind of a culmination of stories, and that is The Unfinished Tales by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, I love everything in the world that Tolkien has created. I love the Hobbit novel, I love the Lord of the Rings novel. I didn't like the Hobbit movies as much because I feel like they stretched out a story that should have maybe been a 2-part adventure instead of a 3. They could have definitely fit everything that happened in the 2 Hobbit movies, or in the 3 Hobbit movies, into 2 at the most. There was way more added to that than they needed to have, so. But The Unfinished Tales is something, how do I put it? It's something wholly unique and yet still has that same Lord of the Rings style feel to it. So, I will read what it says on the back so you guys can decide whether you want to read this for yourselves. Alright, so, the first age. Young Lord Turin fled from Morgoth's forces, wandering in disguise as an outlaw until he could avenge his people against the evil that has razed his home. But Turin lived under the curse of a hateful dragon, and the Lord's secret identity hid more than he knew. The second age. Prince Aldarian's heart belonged to Arendis, but his passion lay with the ocean and the great ships that sailed beyond the sight of the land. But no man could serve 2 mistresses, and no mortal's love could withstand the lure of the sea. The Third Age. The great warrior Isildur escaped with the One Ring cut from the Dark Lord Sauron's hand to hide it from evil's grasp, but Isildur would learn the burden of a ring bearer and of its temptation and despair. Now, each one of these stories has its own unique Lord of the Rings feel. The first one sets up a much more ancient feel to the Middle-earth stories. And I think that's one of the things that I really loved about it, is it feels so far gone, but so in the present at the same time. And that's a very rare thing to get with a story. And the Second Age I loved because it explored that duality of love of object or thing versus love of person. And being torn between two things that you love with all of your heart, I feel like is such a strong storytelling aspect. It may be overplayed sometimes, but I feel like Tolkien does such a good job with describing the way that Aldarion feels about everything that he, is choosing to go through with his story. Now, the Third Age ties very directly in with the Lord of the Rings trilogy because it is about the story that we see at the beginning of the movie series when Elrond is fighting in the battle against Sauron and his forces, and Isildur takes up his broken father's sword and cuts the ring from Sauron's hand. This explains what happens after. And I love that it delves into what Isildur's going through as the ring is taking over him and controlling what he's doing. He thinks when he's starting out that he's protecting everyone from the ring and keeping it out of Sauron's clutches, when really the ring is biding its time and poisoning Isildur's mind. And I feel like that's not really an aspect of a story that most people would think to tell. And I really love the way that this story does that. So, The Unfinished Tales by Tolkien are a very good read, and I will leave a link down in the description for you guys to go check this one out for yourselves. And if you love the Lord of the Rings books or The Hobbit or anything about it as much as I did, it's definitely worth checking out if you have not already. So, of course, I will leave the links down in the description for you guys to go check out. And if you guys have already read the books, let me know down in the comment section what you thought of them. And if you read them now after having watched the video, let me know what you thought of the books when you get done with them. I would love to hear from you guys. So, if you guys liked the video, hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more of the Reading Corner book suggestions. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when my videos go live. Cool? Alrighty. So, I will leave the playlist for the book suggestion Reading Corner vlogs right here for you guys to go check out, and I will leave the subscribe button right here for you guys to go click on so you guys know when my stuff comes out. So, that being said, this is Captain TigerLily, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, my lovelies!